So autumn is closing in, which basically means Pro D2 has been going for several months already. Let's get around the grounds with a wrap-up of round 7. Plenty of pink on display. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the month of October. But we begin our wrap-up with Jaune et Bleu. High-flying Colomiers heading to Ligue newbies Carcassonne. And we didn't have to wait long for the deadlock to be broken. Maxime Giannet caught in possession after a speculative kick through. The counter-ruck came from Colomiers. And it was the man on loan who's been handed the keys, running the ship, fly half, Valentin Delpy, on loan from Stade Toulousain, who scored his first Colomiers try. 2 Johnny McPhillips penalties kept Carcassonne in touch, and then the home crowd began to dream of an upset when replacement hooker Yann Tarabeau guided the ship from the back of the maul, splintered and took it home to take the lead with 13 minutes remaining. But Colomiers showed spirit, clicking into gear in the nick of time. Firstly down the left-hand touchline, and it was Jules Danglot getting the visitors out of jail and keeping Colomiers top of the log. A narrow 15-13 victory. So our live game in round 7 was from the Stade de la Rabine in Vannes, who welcomed Oyonnax, and it was absolutely packed. Another game, another early try from a kick through. An Oyonnax error pounced upon. Firstly by Enzo Benmagal, the winger, and it was finished by fullback Paul Serrano, his first ever brace in this match. And when Vannes bust open, they are really dangerous, and none more so than that young 21-year-old winger, Enzo Benmagal, who finished off this move and his 4th try in 5 appearances, giving Vannes the early cushion. And when from a solid scrum, Sione Kalamafoni beasted his way over on 64 minutes, it was essentially game over. Both teams scoring before full-time, leaving it a convincing 36-17 win for Vannes and their 4th straight victory. Agen against Brive at the Stade Ormandy felt significant. Agen off the back of a defeat and Brive starting to gather some momentum. The first try came on 32 minutes. English halfbacks Jack Maunder and Craig Willis combining to set up a flowing move that eventually found its way into the hands of Luca Martins, the 22-year-old, scorching him. Brive just weren't at the races on this one. They'd rotated a few players, but still had Courtney Laws, Ernie Herbst, Marcel van der Merwe, but they were blown away by the free-flowing, offloading attack of Agen. Matthias Jean with the 3rd try. And sealing the full 5 points and rubbing salt in the wound with the clock in the red, it was the Portuguese flyer Martin who won the foot race, managed to gather and cantered in for his 2nd and for a crushing 41-10 win. A little bit of soul searching in Brive after that one. It is Agen who will travel to Valence Roman for our live game this week, but how would Valence fare on the road in Béziers? Well, it started well. Valence centre Louis Maroux intercepting what could have been a Béziers try to take it 80 metres in the other direction. A deserved breather after crossing the whitewash. Samuel Marquez for Béziers is a talisman, and he rode a huge shot at the breakdown and then somehow managed to pinball his way, the little scrum half, all the way to the line. Lucas Mire had his kicking boots on in this game from the tee and with this nudge to put in Joris Mora, which made it a 1-point game. Valence are punching above their weight given their budget. Lovely balance of skillful hands. And then there are some blunt instruments as well, doing the damage closer. And Louis Suaud being one of the latter with his 2nd try in as many games. And with Lucas Mire nailing absolutely everything in a personal haul of 22 points, Valence took the game and the league points away from Béziers. A fine win away, 37-29. Mid-table, Aurillac welcomed rock-bottom Dax to the Stade Jean-Ulrich. And the visitors have been showing spirit in recent weeks, and Jean-Baptiste Barrère gave Dax early hope when the big man in the wide channel went over for their first try. From a restart, a huge shot from Lucas Oudard. Looked like an absolute bone cruncher, but it got the attention of the TMO, who, with the referee, had another look and decided that it was worthy of a full red card. The newly introduced orange card, not required on this occasion, and Aurillac were in big trouble. A man down, 7 points behind, and then Barrère went over for his second try. Really nice interplay between forwards and backs. Barrère with the support line. And suddenly, Aurillac were 14 points down. And we'd only had just over half an hour at this point. The reset button was hit pretty quickly though by Aurillac, and fly half Tedo Abzandadze got through his opposite number to close the gap. And the bench had an impact for Aurillac as well in the second half. Fijian Simeli Yabaki with lovely footwork and gas for a try. Before, after another move from the right-hand touchline all the way through the hands to the left, it was Yabaki again, who had a simpler job on his hands to make it a brace. Abzandadze got the conversion to level the scores, then a penalty to take the lead, but on 83 minutes, Dax thought they'd stolen the win at the death. The referee and the TMO, who were busy in this game, deciding though that the ball was held up, and you can see the frustration on the Dax players' faces. Incandescent, inconsolable. Aurillac, pure relief. Dax may not get many better chances to record a win on the road. 36-33, an absolute thriller. So Dax could have closed the gap on Mont-de-Marsan, who were home to Grenoble. The visitors come in with a fully loaded team and looking to bounce back after two narrow losses. No tries in a tight first half, and it was Mont-de-Marsan who turned defence into attack, applying huge pressure, which ultimately led to number 8, Sam Tuifua, getting to the ball first. Grenoble guilty of just not taking care of some of the nuts and bolts. Villy Duplessis wasn't only putting up the spiral bombs, he nailed a 40-odd metre drop goal too to build a lead. And defence once more turned into attack. A minute later, when Pierre Saez gassed it down the left wing, lovely interplay and a stunning offload back to Saez, which helped Mont-de-Marsan open up a 20-point lead going into the final quarter. Grenoble did eventually start to click. Romain Fouzière back in the team after injury and getting his hands on the ball and showing what he is capable of doing, powering his way to the line for a try. But it was too little too late from Grenoble. A huge win for Mont-de-Marsan and a crushing defeat for the visitors from the Alps, who look a shadow of the top of the table side from last season. Mind you, it's only round 7, a long way to go. Talking about teams not as convincing as last season, Soyou Angoulême needed a result at home to Biarritz to get their season on track. Still no Johnny May for the home side, his recovery continues, but the issues might be in the pack at the moment. Soyou allowing Biarritz to go over from a line-out drive, Orban Placine squeezing in the right-hand corner. A simple draw and give from Ben Botica put Moron Briat in under the sticks at the start of the second half, and a Botica penalty pulled the scores level at 13-all, but he probably wound up a little bit too long for this exit kick, with Ekaïn Imaz on the end of a 1-2 to get Biarritz back in front. On 76 minutes though, Samuel Nollet probably thought he'd won it. But Angoulême's set piece, well, the issues there proved costly. A penalty, and with the clock in the red, Enzo Selponi winning the match with the last kick of the game. Biarritz and their ultras absolutely ecstatic. Angoulême's 4th defeat in a row. And finally, Provence-Nevers. And the home side, well, they're starting to attack in the way that the talents in the back line, I mean, they're clearly capable. It was 20-year-old Portuguese back Manuel Verreiro who scored his first ever professional try on 5 minutes in only his 3rd game for the club. A bit less subtlety with their second, Tamana Harrison bulldozing his way over. But Harrison went from hero to zero pretty quickly after this carry from the base of a scrum on 18 minutes. And a couple of looks from the officiating team. And the decision was that fend to the face of his Nevers opponent was worthy of a red card. Nevers clawed one back, but went to sleep from this penalty. And it was Fijian fly half Caleb Muntz who scored his first try on his Provence debut. And despite being a man down, the home side was still able to find the mismatches. And it was Manuel Verreiro, the youngster again, dummying and ghosting his way in for his 2nd try. Provence are scoring really freely, but they're conceding a fair few as well. And just as away at Grenoble, Nevers showed they are full of spirit. 5 tries apiece. 6 points the gap. A home win for Provence. An absolute thriller, 39-33. Another great week in Pro D2, and there are the results, some quite eye-catching ones as well. The win for Mont-de-Marsan against Grenoble, probably the pick of them, you'd have to say. And the league table at the bottom, Dax had that opportunity to close the gap on Mont-de-Marsan, but they extend their gap away from the bottom side. Whereas at the top, Colomiers and Van looking strong. Agen, with a crushing win against Brive, are sat there in 3rd place. And, well, they've got a trip on the road to 4th place, Valence Roman. That is our live game on Thursday night. Kick-off 8 p.m. We get underway just before. Make sure you join us here on the channel. And then, of course, week 8. And that is what the fixtures are looking like. Some absolute crackers.